Hello and welcome to another episode of the Takes from Lakes podcast. I'm James, and that is Grady Dick, aka Nash. We are here on a Friday, the last few minutes of a Friday in January 19th. It's a little late night episode. We just had a basketball game today. Not going to talk about how it went. Nash, how you doing? Tell us all about that jersey and the shenanigans that it took to get that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been better in terms of I'm not very good at basketball. If I'm just gonna put it bluntly, but everything else is going good. We finally got the Grady Dick jersey. I've been talking about this.
You've been telling, I remember you telling me that in September or something.
The problem is he's low key. This is my guy. He's low key a bust.
He's barely played in the NBA. He's been.
Well, yeah, but bro forgot how to shoot.
Yeah, and that's kind of his whole thing.
It'll be all right. I think he'll turn it around.
Mm-hmm. Plenty of time.
The lanky. I can't say that.
Don't even try. Yeah, but we're here to talk about. I mean, obviously, tomorrow we have some divisional games. And the other two on Sunday. So we're here to give a little recap of the wildcard games and also preview the divisional games. We'll give our picks. And speaking of picks, Nash wanted to take a victory lap of his.
And just by the way, just because we like to waste our time, unfortunately, we will be skipping obscure stat this week. I know that disappoints a lot of you. Shout out Caden.
Yep.
For coming up with your own obscure stats that I usually have to delete.
Yep. So,
but
we'll try to resist the hate comments that will come because of the lack of obscure stat today. But we're sorry.
And anywho, in other news, I have officially mathematically won the NFL 2023-2024 Takes from the Lakes NFL game picks for this year.
Congrats.
I'm up by 9 games right now. There's only 7 games left.
Or we could weigh the Super Bowl heavily.
No, we couldn't. Unfortunately not.
We should have done playoffs as 2 or something.
I'm cooking you, buddy.
Still could have won, but whatever.
Anyways, I just cooked this guy.
Hey, and it was once week 2 went down, and I went down by 8 or something because it was literally RNG. I tried to claw myself back, got to
Not
3
RNG.
or 2. Yes, it is. Got to 2, I think. And then had a couple bad weeks here and there. We put up a fight, though. That's really all I can ask, We put up a fight. We played until the end. Season isn't over. There's lots of moral victories to be had until the Super Bowl and through the Super Bowl. But, I'm just proud of my guys, proud of the way we played. And, it's on to the next one, on to the offseason, and we'll grow from there. But, congrats, man, on the picks. Good job.
Yeah,
Good RNG. What?
I think this means you have to admit that I at least kind of know ball because I cooked.
I mean, a toddler probably could have picked better than both of us because that's how it goes. So
nah, I'm just better than you. Anyhow, there will be punishments for James, so to speak, in the near future. Be on the lookout on the Instagram. Find him at school one of these days. He'll probably be wearing something embarrassing. There's lots of ideas. If you have any suggestions, feel free to reach out. Whatever you think
or don't,
he should be doing because he couldn't guess which NFL team would win games this year.
Guess, that's perfect word. Not predict, guess. Yep, you said it yourself.
I guessed better. So
you did admit it's RNG.
Booyah.
Perfect. Glad we got that.
It's not RNG. You always sit kind of goofy whenever we do these podcasts.
Me?
I feel like if you watch on
fault.
YouTube, there's so much more of a story. There's so much more of a story that you pick up on.
Take these headphones off. Hold on, I'm trying to. My speaker's all goofed up.
I guess I'll say exciting wild card weekend.
Yeah,
it was an exciting wild card weekend, but not many of the games were close.
What was it? Only one possession game between Rams and Lions, 24-23, I believe it was.
Yes, indeed.
That was a wild one. the first half was a shootout, and a lot of people were expecting, an all-time class. Not to say it wasn't a classic game because it was very entertaining, and of course the storylines. Stafford Goff, Stafford coming back. Lions haven't won a playoff game in 31 years. Um, Not to say it wasn't a classic game, but definitely the defenses figured it out in the second half, and that's what eventually allowed the Lions to pull it out. Um, Rams couldn't score on that final drive, and then Lions got that first down to clinch it. But yeah, any initial thoughts on that game, Nash?
Um, I think the Lions looked good, but I think it also exposed some of their weaknesses. I just don't think that they're explosive enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're far too methodical to play against, like, you're not going to out strength the 49ers. You're not going to out grit and grind the 49ers defense. They'll start making plays. So, while I have them losing to the Buccaneers, I think regardless, I don't think there's any way San Francisco loses.
Mm.
I think regardless, they run into a Niners team if they win this week that
You
they
did pick the Bucks though.
just cannot beat. I know I did pick the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason for that is just the Bucks are more explosive. We've seen that.
Really?
It
Mm.
can be very important in the playoffs. Like the Lions offense is good.
I mean,
It's
it's
not
really good. That's why they've been good this
it is
season.
it is really good, but it's not a playoff offense to me. I
Mm.
don't think they have enough, like, you call Jared Goff like a top whatever quarterback. Amon-Ra St. Brown like a top whatever receiver. But just their play style, it's not somebody where it's like you can just lean on them to like go make plays
Mm-hmm.
against
I mean,
good teams.
yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I
Um,
mean, they did do that against the Rams, who were like really pretty good team. Like on that, of course, a second and
yeah,
long to clinch a game. Amon-Ra found him over the middle, that sort of thing. But
but I mean, like,
Jameer Gibbs to Montgomery.
that Rams team was purely a product of Sean McVay just being like a genius. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a whole lot of talent across the
Yeah,
board on that team.
Puka.
I'm
Shut up, Puka.
I sort of don't know how to feel about the Lions. Like their secondary's not that good at all. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it really isn't.
and they're just,
Hutchinson's a dog though,
yeah.
but
It feels to me like they somehow get over, even though they have a good offensive line, they just feel sort of weak in the trenches
mm-hmm.
to me. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. But yeah, I think Lions will pull it out against the Bucks though. Um, but yeah,
I
speaking of the
think
Bucks, do you want to
I
move
think
on? Or?
it's like a Cincinnati. Does that make sense? It's like a really good mid-major team.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're really good, but they don't have the talent or the speed or the explosiveness to like match up with the best teams. That's
They
my
just have the
analogy.
grit and grind too, though. That's the thing. They have the Dan Campbell to beat the
They
team.
have the grit and grind to get beat by 38 in the semifinal game. If that happens, where they get like, what was the score of the Cincinnati Georgia game?
Yeah, not close. Well, since it was Cincy and Bama.
Bama, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the Lions, they've beat good teams or they've played good teams really close. So then again, we'll just have to wait and see. But I mean, I think they'll get by the Bucks. But the
Yeah.
Bucks, like I was about to say, they beat the Eagles 32-9. Eagles suck. I mean, they're just really just were not a good football team down the stretch. They finished, I think it was 1-6 to finish the year. They were 10-1 to start. I mean, we saw with that Giants loss in last week of the season, they just could not get anything going on offense. Lots of people think Sirianni should get fired. I think he should as well. Kind of shows there since they lost both their coordinators last year that their Super Bowl run was kind of based off of that. Then losing Steichen and Gannon. But what are your thoughts on that, Nash?
I think that's ridiculous. I think the takeaway is that their quarterback was all jacked up
Mm-hmm.
with like a number of things, and nobody really knows exactly what was going on.
I don't. Okay.
He was not 100%.
Okay.
They dealt with just struggles. They struggled to put away games. They, it was, to me, it looked like a bad year for a good team. And so I think to fire a coach the year after making a Super Bowl run that was won or that was lost off of one holding call, albeit the right call.
Had to put that
It
in
was
there.
lost off of one holding call. You have to give me some credit for at least
Oh my
even saying
God.
that.
Just keep going, bro. I thought you were gonna like have some respect for like the game, but then you said, albeit a right call, so let's have to move on. But
It was. I mean, he held him. So, but
oh my goodness.
should I screen share and run back the clip right now? Because if
Um,
I do remember, he held his jersey, which in football you can't do.
let's go. You're saying something unimportant.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think you you fire a guy who made the Super Bowl the year after, firing him,
I mean,
playoff loss. I mean, they just
yes.
looked bad. They just
And whose
looked.
fault is that? The players? It's the same team as last year. I mean, yeah, sure they didn't have AJ Brown this game, but
There
they were
were
1-5 in the
there
six
were
games before that with him.
there were injuries.
Not really that many.
There was turmoil, and
And whose fault is that?
they struggled to put games like they were bad in close games. I don't feel like that's a product of coaching.
I think it really
I feel
is.
like well,
Close
I feel like
games, like game
okay,
management.
okay, but it wasn't a problem of game management. It's just like guys down the stretch not performing.
They actually won most of their close games, if I do remember. Like that's they were 10 and they were like a very Mickey Mouse 10-1 because they had close wins over. Remember that like Chiefs game?
Yeah,
Like
I
let's
don't
yeah,
know.
Buffalo beat by 3, Chiefs by 4, Dallas by
Well,
5,
I'm thinking like
Washington by
distinctly
7.
the Arizona loss.
Yeah, I mean they only had two close losses the whole year. I mean, three counting Jets, Seattle on the JSN catch, and like you said, Cardinals. So yeah. I
I don't
mean
know. It
and
just
they had
felt
they had the season in the bag, and then they decided they were gonna lose to the Cardinals. So
it just
yeah.
felt a little fluky to me. And I don't know who you replace Sirianni with that's going to be better.
I mean it's a really, really good head coaching um pool to pick from this year.
Well, but at the same time, I think Sirianni's strengths fit perfectly with their personnel, regardless of, the success this year. And I just think like, especially you're in your window,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of being able to win a championship with this talent.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
So
see.
you stick with the guy that's gotten them there,
How do you know the
as
coordinators
opposed
didn't get them there? That they both lost and it happened to
I
suck the
mean,
year after they both
we'll
left.
see
And
what the
Steichen left
truth
and
is.
did
We'll
everything with a
see
horrible
whether
Colts team.
we'll see whether what you're saying is true based off of whether they fire him or not.
Hmm.
But I don't think you can justify firing him. I think that's just a little bit. I think it's
Yeah.
a little
I think me personally, I think it's fair,
wishy
and
washy.
I imagine that's what all Eagles fans are calling for.
Well,
Or
yeah.
I
I mean,
know,
I'd be
but
furious too. But it's just whether or not it's the right decision,
yeah.
and I don't think
But
it is.
yeah, speaking of coaches and coach firings, or I guess non-firings, the Cowboys loss by 16 was honestly more like 30 to the Packers, and they're keeping Mike McCarthy as their head coach for next year. But yeah, Packers won 48-32. Masterclass game, capital M, by Jordan Love and the Packers, the youngest team to ever make the playoffs. Just I picked the Packers to win. I like legitimately thought they were going to win. I am not falling for this trick of the Cowboys in the playoffs ever. I fell for it in years before, and I love Jordan Love. Like I was saying this, I think to my dad, like before the game, I think Jordan Love is one of my more favorite players in the NFL outside well, I guess I don't really like that many players in the Pats, but outside of the Pats, might be my favorite player in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, he did everything, throwing the Romeo Dobbs, Luke Musgrave, Wicks, Kraft, all those sort of guys, and
Hmm.
really was
Wicks
just
is good.
never.
Wicks is
Wicks is
good.
good. Yeah, no, not to discredit credit them or anything. Like Musgrave is a good tight end. Wicks is like really solid. Dobbs, we know, has been a really solid wide receiver, but yeah, the Jordan Love hype train is here.
Hmm.
272, 3 touchdowns in this game, which is never close. So.
Yeah. I think the Mike McCarthy situation is completely different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's similar. I mean, I think they're
Well,
very
no,
two
I think he
different,
just
but
needs to get fired.
yeah, I mean, there's no reason why he should be. I
Like,
mean, losing
like
the first team that ever loses to the
Sirianni,
7th seed.
and like I feel like I'm not usually like this, where I say, "Oh, what somebody's been able to do in the past should give them more leeway."
Hmm.
But like him making the Super Bowl in his first, that was his first year as head coach, second year,
Second.
second year, sorry, um, should give him a second chance.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the opposite is true for McCarthy. He's had numerous different styles of teams built around him. None of them perfect, but all of them very talented to play to different strengths as well. And so the fact that he hasn't been able to figure it out enough to even make an NFC championship game is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so I think he just needs to be out of there. He was never
Yeah.
even that. He was never even that good in Green Bay.
Yeah, but of course, as long as the Packers are being led by Jerry Jones, they will probably never be a good football team.
So the Packers have never been led by
So
Jerry Jones.
I did mean the Cowboys, but
Oh, did you? Oh,
yes,
did you?
I know you don't know quite as much ball as me. So you might not quite understand what I'm saying, but I do mean the Cowboys. Um, that's all me though.
I
Uh,
am MVP.
all right. People listening are gonna have no clue what you're talking about, but um,
Oh, well, I didn't even think about that.
yeah, you goofy. You just looking goofy right now. Anyways, yeah, as long as Jerry Jones is leading the Cowboys, they will not go anywhere because his ego is just through the roof, and he holds too much stake in the team building aspect of the Cowboys. But yeah, they suck, man. They were
Yeah, they're
pretenders all
bad.
year, and the Packers and Jordan Love is really, really, really good, and I love watching him play. He is just actually incredible. So yeah. But as far as the other wild card games go,
My setup is falling apart.
yeah, it really looks like it. That's all the NFC.
Hmm.
AFC side, not quite the greatest games, not gonna lie. What was the first one? It was Texans Browns. Texans destroyed them. CJ Stroud masterclass. Had like an identical game to Jordan
Yeah.
Love
Well, and I
on
don't
the
think that
dot,
takes away
actually.
from the Browns' great season,
Yeah.
especially defensively. It just they fell apart. CJ Stroud is the real deal,
Hmm.
and their sort of like magical Joe Flacco run
Yeah.
wasn't
The
didn't
thing
appear to be
was,
sustainable.
Flacco like literally did not care at all and was just slinging the ball around the field, and he had been fine up to this point, but that's what eventually cost him. So did he throw 2 pick sixes or was it one? I knew he threw one, but um, yeah. So
Were both of his
that's
picks pick sixes? Pick sixes?
yeah, they were two
Hmm.
two pick sixes. So like that's what eventually cost him just
Yeah.
having no care in the world, and it he'd been lucky up to this
Well,
point, but caught up to him.
it's not no care in the world, but it's
I
just
mean,
playing
he
without,
was.
factoring in risk as opposed to playing conservatively,
I mean, obviously, it was a hyperbole
which
betting
I think
himself, but
it
he
I
didn't
think is
quite catch
for
on
the
that.
better.
Uh,
What? Like,
take a joke.
you just see backup quarterbacks playing conservative. It just never works.
Hmm.
The offense just is bad. So it's better to throw some picks.
Yeah, but
Go
not
for it.
not quite. He had gotten bailed out up to this point with great defensive play, and
Hmm.
obviously that didn't quite help him this game because they did not
Yeah.
play well. Because outside of Myles Garrett, they really don't have that many guys. Obviously, did
Well, I
Denzel
mean,
Ward even
they're
play this game? Yeah, he did. But
like,
really, like, I mean, yeah, JOK, all these guys,
JOK.
they were pretty hurt, I
They
believe,
have a
on
lot of
defense.
names. They have a lot of names, but I don't feel like. I mean, is Greg Newsome hurt?
No, he did play.
He's good.
Yeah, but yeah, still, Stroud was cooking him, and it was pretty fun to watch. But Texans will have the number one seed Baltimore Ravens. Is that yeah? It's tomorrow. It's the first game, so we'll preview that in a sec.
The sad thing for Stroud is that he's gonna have a really rough season next year.
Yeah,
It's
kind of
just like
like yeah, just
Mahomes
like
at the start of his second year as a
hmm
starter.
yeah. Dude, was that Mahomes' second year when he got hurt and then Matt Moore came in? You remember? He got hurt
Second
for
year
like
as
his
starter
knee.
in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
No, not in the playoffs. Like he got hurt, like hurt his knee in the QB sneak, and then Moore came in. Let me see.
I wanna say yes. No,
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was his
no.
second year as
Was it
as
was and that
starter.
was the year and that was the year we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was a Niners year. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, he still had a good year, but um, and obviously, yeah, Mahomes wasn't a rookie in his first year as a starter, but still, yeah, see what you're saying. But um, yeah, speaking of Mahomes, Chiefs took care of business in I think it was like the fourth coldest game of
Playoff game
playoff
ever.
game of all time. Tua, not good, not a good game.
We didn't
Um,
expect him to be good.
we didn't
It just
expect him to be
wasn't
good.
close.
As long as Tua's a quarterback, I don't think the Dolphins will be seriously contender. They'll have a decision to make this offseason. Will they extend him or will they decide to go down another path? I'm not sure what that other path would be because there's not many options, but um, we didn't mention Dak potentially leaving. Cowboys have to make a decision about him too. But yeah, I mean, Chiefs took care of business.
I
All there
think
really is to it.
I think I want Dak to and like think Dak is gonna leave just for the sake of how interesting it would make the offseason.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
I think that yeah. I mean the
I
draft will hold
also
so much like
think
importance too in terms of
I also
quarterback
think
moving around.
the Cowboys going into a rebuild, which like they've really never done,
Yeah,
because
as long
Jerry Jones
as
just like
yeah.
refuses. If that happens, it's just like the greatest humbling thing for a Cowboys fan ever because they won't
hmm
be able to say this year is our year
Yeah, and yet they'll
because it
still
won't
probably
be.
find a way to say that and they'll be even more wrong. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd imagine if they were to rebuild, they would have fired McCarthy by now. Um, but yeah, like you said, I mean, they never have and they probably never will because, Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones, but yeah,
So
so we'll
instead,
see
they're gonna
about Dak.
overpay for Dak and then lose all his weapons.
Yeah. Yeah. I think CD's in
They do
for a
have a top
payday.
five receiver in the league.
Yeah, CD's in for a payday though, because
Wait, do
it
you think he's top
was.
five?
I
He's top
mean,
five.
yeah, he's top five.
He's top five.
I mean,
And
he's
I was a hater at the beginning of the year. You remember this? We argued about this.
really you hate on CD. I
I
don't remember
hated
that.
on him. Yeah.
Hmm.
I said he like wasn't top 15.
Oh damn. Yeah, no, he's tough.
He's so good.
But yeah, anything else to say about the Chiefs or the Dolphins?
Well, I just have a question to you. I'm interested in your opinion.
hmm
Does that performance legitimize the Chiefs defense at all? Or do we think
Um,
you like we knew they were already pretty good?
I mean, obviously we knew they were good. We know they have guys. Chris Jones is a dog. But that was to his first ever playoff game. Mike McDaniel in his playoff game last year was like pretty. The game wasn't well coached, so I mean, obviously, I don't think they didn't really have anything to prove because they've kind of proved it all year. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously the conditions helped them, and believe yeah, Chiefs went up early, so they kind of had to pass the ball for most of the game. But I mean, a little bit, yeah. I mean, the Dolphins had been like the most efficient offense in the league up to this point, so I'd say yeah. But obviously, we'll see how it goes against the Bills next week, and
Yeah.
that's gonna be. I'm so excited for that game.
Yeah. The only thing it proved to me is that like our corners are actually shut down. McDuffie and
McDuffie is
Sneed.
so good.
McDuffie is
Go
really
you
good,
Dub.
and Sneed is very physical, but he's also really good.
Yeah, yeah. Just incredible drafting by the Chiefs on the defensive side and offensive.
Oh,
Well,
Brett
mostly
V. The only
offensive, but
thing is, I feel like Onyedik Uzoma might be a miss,
yeah. Well,
but
and
like
Clyde too, but of course.
Karloftis has been so
Karloftis is the
good.
dog. I mean, Karloftis, McDuffie, Bolton. You guys drafted Dana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana Sneed. Um, yeah. I mean, in terms of Justin Reed's been a
Willie
good
Gay,
addition. Yeah, Willie Gay.
um,
Amenahu was a good
Cook,
pickup. Yeah, Cook.
Joshua Williams,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jalen Watson,
I mean, Rasheed Rice was an awesome pick,
Rasheed Rice.
but
Rasheed Rice. Oh my
yeah.
goodness, he's
I mean, of course,
incredible.
Pacheco.
Sky Moore
Yeah,
was horrible.
yeah.
Pacheco. Tyreek Hill was a fifth rounder back in his.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just
Yeah.
Kelsey was a sleeper.
Was Veach the GM when? I mean,
I don't
he
think
picked
no,
Mahomes, right? Did he pick Mahomes?
he did.
I mean, even that. I mean, he
Yeah,
was what? He was picked
I
10
wasn't.
over like
I should know,
fourth
but I really
quarterback.
wasn't like tuned into stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't really start paying attention to the draft until like 2020, like the Joe Burrow draft. But
Yeah.
now I'm like obviously locked in. We both are, but yeah, anyways, 26-7 Chiefs win. One more wild card game to talk about. I don't really think there's much to say. Bills beat the Steelers 31-17 in Buffalo. Had to reschedule the game because of the it just wild snow. But Bills took care of business. Steelers clawed back for a little bit. Mason Rudolph earned himself a
Okay.
contract by some team for probably a backup job, so good for him, but
Yeah.
I don't know what else
We
there is
knew
to
what we
say.
knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Tomlin. The only thing to talk about is that Tomlin's sort of future with the Steelers is up in the air,
Hmm.
which to me, again, is crazy. Like I understand that people want to see championships, but it just you look at all these teams that have lost in the first round of the playoffs. None of them were that good.
Yeah.
Like yes, they sort of sold with like before the consecutive first round exits, they sort of sold with the three Bs era. Like I feel
Hmm.
like Roethlisberger, AB, and
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell should have been able
But
to
then
get
again, they
past the
had to beat the
Patriots.
Pats, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Um. So it's just tough, but like that team was
Yeah. I mean, they haven't had
unreal.
good quarterback play since like 18 maybe with Big Ben. Before he was washed the
Okay,
last couple of years. So what?
crazy, crazy, like just thought.
Uh-huh.
So Rain Dakota Prescott, right
Mm-hmm.
on the Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Is that a
mean,
Super Bowl contender?
I think it has to. I mean, what about Russell Wilson? I mean, I'd say yes or Dak. What about Russell Wilson?
Mm-mm.
No? Mm. What about Tua?
No,
Yeah.
because I mean,
Tua
Tua's just like a
needs,
worse. He's just like a
yeah.
worse Dak. Like the thing about Russell Wilson is he's not a Mike Tomlin quarterback at all.
Yeah. It's true. I
He's just
mean,
not.
how would you like define a Mike Tomlin quarterback? Because we've had Big Ben, who was obviously, Big Ben, and then he's had like
Just like a
nobody
game
since
manager.
then. Yeah, I mean, there's not much like a
Because like
sample size.
Big Ben was big, but Big Ben never really had like a crazy
Yeah,
arm.
no, he was just like, nobody could take him down. That's kind of his whole thing. But they just need a guy that can just sling the ball around and get it to literally just get the ball in the hands of any of their receivers, and they'll be okay. And they couldn't do that this year.
Yeah, Pickens is a
And
monster. He's
yeah,
also
Pickens.
like clinically insane, but
Yeah,
that's not important.
yeah, he had a
It's
really
actually
good year
so
though.
funny to me how he's like the biggest menace of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, Kenny Pickett's just, I mean, horrible pick, but
Yeah.
horrible quarterback draft.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's all the wild card games, and so that sets us up for the divisional round. Texans Ravens. So tomorrow we get Texans Ravens 4:30, Packers Niners 8:15, Bucks Lions 3 on Sunday, Chiefs Bills to round it out. Sunday at 6:30. So we'll go through the games, give our picks, and we'll be out of here. So Texans Ravens, let's go. Who you got? I mean, I know who you
Mm,
got, but tell the audience.
I have the
This
Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel good about it just because I don't think the Ravens are really all that.
Yeah.
They are really good, but do they have the tools to stop CJ Stroud?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, but it's just one of those situations where am I going to take a rookie quarterback against the number one? I just can't justify it.
Number one defense on the road.
And regardless of what's happened this season with the Texans, D'Amico Ryan, like the supporting cast, I still don't trust it in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being honest, their defense is shaky at best. You
Yeah.
see them getting a lot of shootouts. And I think the thing with the Ravens is that their defense might not be amazing, but they prevent shootouts. They can limit the big plays generally. Is that a fair
Yeah. Yeah.
um and really just take away what Stroud wants to do, which is just like sling the ball willy nilly. You have to be a little bit more methodical against the
Yeah.
Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh is such a good coach. So it's just I don't think it's a great matchup. I think if you put them against the Bills or like even the Chiefs is tough because our secondary has been so good.
Yeah.
Um, but the Bills, like that's I think I'd take Stroud.
Mm.
So it's
Wow.
all about the matchup, but I think the Ravens are just your typical very good, but don't have enough to get over the hump
Yeah.
team, like the Ravens seem to be every year.
Yeah.
And the only reason they're the number one seed is because there was so much parity throughout the league this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they did prove though they can beat, of course, good teams down the stretch.
Yeah,
I mean, beat the Dolphins, they might not have
trash.
been that good, but they did, destroy them, not even close. Niners, they beat them, kind of destroyed them, I guess, too. But
As well,
um
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've been saying this whole week, I think one of the two, I mean, I said this to you, one of the two one seeds are gonna lose, and I was torn between picking the Packers or Texans and win. I did pick the Packers, but I think this could be a really interesting game. I was talking to Brentley about it. I actually knew to respond to his text, but
Well,
he
he's
said,
biased,
well,
but
obviously he's biased. He was like, let me know your thoughts, like, because I think there's no way we don't like destroy them, blow them out. And I basically just said I picked, like I said, I think one of the one seeds are gonna lose, but I've been kind of hating on the Ravens all year, so I think I'm just gonna give them credit now, and I think I'm gonna pick them for this game. But the thing is, it's the playoffs. Crazy things happen. Things don't go as planned. The best team doesn't always win. I mean, we've had these crazy runs. The Bengals making the AFC Championship game, beating the Chiefs, that sort of thing. Titans making it. Titans beating the one seed Ravens and Lamar's also MVP season in 2019. Like crazy things happen. Of course, CJ Stroud is playing incredibly well, but they do play the number one defense on the road. CJ Stroud has not played an environment like this in the NFL, so I do think the Ravens will pull it out, but I would not be surprised at all if the Texans win. But I do think
moving
the
on.
Packers, yeah, I do think the Packers will pull it out though. Um, they'll be the first seven seed to make the NFC championship or the championship game because only a seven seed has never won before. But yeah, I mean Jordan Love, like I said, just love watching him play. Packers have been playing incredible. I'm not gonna say anything bad about the Niners. Obviously, they have an incredible team, but like I said, crazy things happen in the playoffs. Upsets happen, and I think this upset's gonna happen. The Packers are gonna use their good play from last week and kind of carry it on to this game. And hopefully
Yeah.
Brock Purdy disaster class will help my case. It's very
So
possible. So
I think betting against and I think the Texans winning tomorrow is more likely than
yeah,
than
that's
the
fair.
Packers winning. I think for me the issue with betting against the Niners is that you're not regardless of how much you like Jordan Love and the Packers, you're let's be real. You picking the Packers is banking on a bad game from the Niners.
hmm
If the
I mean, the
Niners
thing is
play
though,
49ers football, which we know they can,
hmm
they will win the game.
the
Like
thing
I really don't think
is
there's any debating that.
Jordan Love. has been the best quarterback in the NFL the past
Whoa.
7. No, look at his stats.
Okay.
The past no,
Whoa.
Nash. Did you
Whoa.
watch the Packers game? They showed it like a million times. Jordan Love the past like counting last week like 7 weeks. It's like 21 touchdowns, one pick, like however many yards per game. Like he has been statistically the best quarterback in the league. The past, you can look it up.
Yeah,
Look it
yeah,
up. Uh,
let's.
Um, he's been the best quarterback in the league the past 2 months, and
Okay.
so I think if he keeps it
Let's
up,
look at who
the
he's let's look at
Packers,
hold on. Let's look at who he's played. Shall we?
sure.
So his run started at Chiefs game, correct?
Detroit.
Detroit. Okay, Detroit. Terrible secondary. Fair?
Actually, no. Started. Chargers.
Chargers. Terrible defense. Maybe the worst
There we
defense
go
in the
with the
league.
narrative ball.
It's not narrative bowl. This
It's
is the
not if
truth.
you're doing it in every game against an NFL defense. He has been statistically the best quarterback. I'm not saying he's been doing it against
Look.
incredible defenses. He's been the best quarterback in the league since week.
Okay, calling
What
him
is
the
that?
best quarterback and saying
11.
he's put up the best numbers are two different things. Those are
He's
two
been the
different
best
things.
quarterback.
And here's why you're wrong. If you would let me continue. Chargers, horrible defense, horrible team. Lions, terrible secondary. Chiefs, good secondary. Had a great game. Great work.
Beat the
Giants,
Lions and Chiefs back to back
bad team.
weeks.
Giants, bad team, and they lost. Bucks,
Giants are
terrible
feisty.
secondary. Bucks, terrible
Bucks
secondary.
did not have a terrible second. They actually have pretty good secondary.
They have a bad defense.
And Carolina
And
actually like had a very good
and they
defense, by the
lost.
way,
And they lost.
to a
Mm,
good team. No,
they're
Carolina.
terrible. They're
No,
terrible. They're
look it
terrible.
up.
They're
Nash.
terrible.
I'm actually not
They're
kidding with you.
terrible.
Carolina, like legitimately, like they had like a statistically like top defense in the NFL. It's just the offense was so incredibly bad that it just obviously outweighed it. Like you can look it up. Like I'm not lying to you. Like I'm not gonna be lying, but they had like a good defense this past season. I think. Let me see. Um. Yeah, yards per game, fourth. They were fourth in yards per game. The Panthers allowed. So I wasn't lying to you. Anyways, yeah. Against if we're gonna talk yards, fourth best defense in the
I mean, I
NFL.
think that's just a result of the
Oh,
fact that their offense slowed the game way
how
down.
do they slow the game if they go three and out every time
Just running the ball every play,
and go
basically.
three and out? That's that doesn't correlate. But anyways, I mean you can go on and on, but since what is that? Against the Chargers, he is um 11, 13, 16, yeah, 21 touchdowns and a pick since then
I
with
mean, you're so quick. You're so quick whenever I like make a point about a player to call Mickey Mouse that like
to prove
for
you
you to
wrong.
be exactly. And so I'm pointing
Why
out the
what else would
fact
I
that this is
do?
completely Mickey Mouse. This
How
run, this little run that you're talking about
is how
is a couple of games against actual teams.
how is a 9 game run Mickey Mouse? It's 9 games. 9 games versus NFL
You were
teams.
literally just talking about how the Eagles 10-1, 10 plus 1 is 11, right?
Hmm
11 game stretch where they went 10-1 was Mickey Mouse.
How okay, no. Yeah,
Trying to
yeah.
justify that Sirianni should get fired.
No, exactly. What did they do the next 6 games? They went 7. They went 1-6. How are you going to tell me that after going 10 and
Watch.
1, you go one and
Okay,
six
watch. Okay,
is
watch. Okay,
not Mickey
watch.
Mouse?
When Jordan Love gets shut down tomorrow, I'm gonna take a victory lap. I'm gonna
Okay.
take a victory lap. It's just you're so
This
hypocritical.
is I almost just called you like I almost called you Connor. What in the world? It's
Whoa.
late. Anyways, um upsets happen in the NFL. I look at the games. I see this. Jordan Love has been the best quarterback of the past whatever, 8 games. I see that. I like that as an opportunity for an upset. I'm banking on him. I'm not saying he's gonna go out there and light up the world. I'm picking this upset because I want there to be an upset in the NFL divisional round. There we go. Bam. Also, your Eagles. Yeah, your Eagles point. That was not a good thing because them going 1-6 after going 10-1 proves that 10-1 was Mickey Mouse. So that doesn't work. But anyways,
JD's and
I
Littleman.
think
This is
that's
why.
cheating. Bro thinks he's Drake.
uh,
Anyways,
this is exactly why I won the picks.
as just like you said,
Have
you
have,
guessed
have you
better.
seen that guy? Have you seen that guy that holds himself up with like go-gurts and stuff?
Yeah.
Shout out that guy, man.
Why did you bring that up?
Because he says JD's and Littleman
Oh,
too.
every time. He does say that every time. He's like, how many $100 bills can I hold myself? He like rips all of them. Anyways, yeah.
Uh,
Um, like if I had to put my life savings on it, obviously I'm not gonna pick for that to happen, the Packers to win, but the playoffs happen, or excuse me, crazy things happen in the playoffs. If something had to happen,
well,
I think this would happen. So that's what
James,
I'm
you
saying.
actually shouldn't bet your life savings on football games. That's not very smart.
Just wait till I can bet, man. You won't be seeing much more of me because I'll be homeless. But anyways,
God.
on to the next
Uh,
game.
anyway,
Buccaneers
final
Lions.
game.
No,
Bucket.
two more.
I've already given my opinion.
Yeah, I
No,
mean we've
one
kind of
more.
already both.
Oh, two
You
more.
have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
mean
I
I think
think
Lions are gonna
Buccaneers.
win. Lions at home, all the energy, all the momentum. Not saying the Bucks don't have momentum, but I think the Lions have just more. But I just think they're the better team overall. Um,
Yeah.
and obviously I think the Bucks do have a very good chance to win though as well. Baker's been balling, and I would be very happy with both these teams making the Super Bowl. Um, very good stories, but this is the big one: Chiefs Bills Sunday night 6:30 CBS. Romo and Nance on the call. Cannot wait. It's gonna be awesome. Round three in the playoffs. Um, Josh Allen has. I think he's like what 3-1 in the regular season, right? 0-2 in the playoffs versus Mahomes.
Yeah.
Um, they're really brewing a great rivalry, which is awesome. But you obviously picked Chiefs, no surprise. I think Bills are gonna win. Bills have been the
Yeah.
last what 5 weeks, 6 weeks, one of if not the best team in the NFL. So um, kind of clicking on all cylinders. Then again, Josh Allen, who knows, dude? Like that guy, especially like in the Miami game last week of the season, just has been so like such a wild card. I mean, he can really
Yeah.
just blow the game, but also just play incredible and win the Super Bowl at the same time. So, let me know your thoughts on this.
So here's my my thoughts. All but one of the Chiefs' losses this year were by one possession.
Hmm.
The one game that we lost, it was more than one possession, was the Broncos. Mahomes, I guess, had like the flu.
Of course,
I think
you did lose to the
the
Raiders, and they like didn't pass the ball
I know the
at
first time
home.
we played the Bills, it wasn't like I'm not blaming the refs or anything. But
Hmm.
if Kadarius Toney doesn't line up off sides like an idiot, we win that game.
Bills do get the ball back,
Okay,
but
but just based off of the flow of that game, you got to give Kansas City.
I mean, let's not give anybody wins. Yes,
We
that
okay,
game's a
okay.
toss up.
That's
Let's
fair.
just
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair. That's fair. But
game is evenly played.
every single game we played this year, aside from one, we either won or it was very close.
Hmm.
So you take that, know that we can play with pretty much every team in the NFL. Is that fair?
Yeah.
We've proven that. And then you combine that with Mahomes, who's been the best playoff performer of the past, can I say decade at this point?
5 years. I mean, his career's gone on 5 years, so
Yeah.
and he's been the best
So,
during it. So
yeah, he's been the best
post
playoff
Brady,
performer since he's been in the league, post Brady.
post
That's
Brady prime,
yeah,
not
but
not
like
Bucks prime.
I think and I think there's a case to be made for him being the second best playoff performer of the 2000s already. 5 straight AFC championships,
Yeah,
2 Super Bowls. Hasn't lost in the divisional round.
Yeah. You'd put him, obviously Brady one, you'd have, I mean, it's between what,
It's
him, Manning,
yeah.
Peyton, man. That's the thing. Peyton, like, yeah, I mean, he's above Peyton, dude. Peyton, I mean, he's two Super Bowls. One of them, he sucked for the whole season, got carried by his
He's above
defense.
Eli, same amount of Super Bowls, more FC champ. Like he's above
Hmm.
Eli. What other quarterback won multiple Super Bowls?
Breeze won one, Rogers won one, Ben won one.
He's already done more.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Um, he the only thing this will be his first
Road.
road playoff game ever
It's crazy.
in Buffalo. That's the
Which
one
is,
thing I think if we were playing at Arrowhead, I'd be far more confident about the game than I am
hmm
because I think we win at pretty much every position except receiver. If you just go position by position.
yeah, but yeah, some of them are pretty toss-ups.
Position group.
Hmm.
Quarterback, Mahomes, um,
The Bills,
receiver.
I mean, safeties, Bills probably, but like even yeah,
Yeah,
like
okay,
safeties and probably the line. But I know I see what you're
but
saying. Yeah.
secondary Chiefs,
Hmm.
linebackers. Nick Bolton is the top 3, 4 linebacker in the league. So I don't
That's
know
we'd have to
what.
go through
Okay,
that, but
Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, and then who else is better?
um, I mean, I'd have to look at the names. I mean, Roke and you said Roquan. I mean, like Jordan Brooks. It's pretty really good. He's
I
really
mean, he's
good.
really good, but no,
Yeah, he
I'm not
is.
giving you that one.
Nah, I'm giving myself that one. Um, who else? I'm looking at teams. Whatever. That's we can discuss this another day. But yeah,
Okay. Um.
he's really
So
good.
yeah, I mean, pretty much we win at every position group besides receiver and safeties, if you're calling it that. Um. So to me, we have the advantage if it wasn't at Buffalo.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean they say like the home team gets spotted like 2.5 for spread. It's basically an even spread. And because the Bills are home, there it's 2.5. So Vegas thinks it's pretty even. But yeah, I mean, obviously incredible game. I'm picking the Bills just because they've, like I said, been the best team in the NFL the past. Was it? I mean, they started 6 and were they 5-6 and one? I think they were 6-6, so they won 6 straight. Josh Allen, when he's on, obviously is unstoppable. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how the Chiefs receivers will do in the playoffs on the road. Um, and I'm not worried about, I mean, I'm not worried about anything for the Chiefs. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but if I were, I wouldn't be worried about Mahomes because obviously, he'll do his thing. But will that defense be able to do what they've done all year? It's a really big question. But yeah, I just think Bills, like you said, at home will kind of play a huge factor because that place will be rocking. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
really all I got for that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd just like to say last week was a historic week for college basketball. What it was like a crazy amount of teams lost that were in the
Hmm.
top 25,
Yeah, I saw that.
including like the top 3,
Yeah, shout out college
all
basketball, man.
taking L's. College basketball is just the best. There will be far more coverage in the near future, as well as
Hmm.
NBA. NBA is starting to ramp up. We
Yeah.
get towards the All-Star break.
Hmm.
Um, the NBA has been exciting this year, man. I'm not gonna lie. There's been so
Yeah.
much parity.
Really, yeah.
It's
Look at
really
the standings.
it's so even.
You look at the standings, you're like, wow, like some of these teams. I mean, of course, like Celtics are, number one, Milwaukee, Philly, but like in the
We should,
West, like
yeah,
Minnesota, OKC, Clippers, it's pretty awesome.
we should do another basketball podcast like tomorrow or something. If you
Yeah,
have a free hour or something, we just get one done.
yeah.
But we did sort of plan for this to be a mainly football focused pod. But for our random topic of the day, we're going to talk about sports that we don't like.
Hmm.
So, finally planned one. This is what it's going to be. James, Start us off.
I mean, you mentioned this before we hit the record button, so I think I'll kind of speak on behalf of both of us. But lacrosse,
Oh my
um,
god.
we just don't think personally it has a great aura to it. I mean, of course, you got the Furta guys, all the sort of like stereotypes that go with it. The Zen upper decky, if you will, sort of
I don't
player.
I don't even
Um,
like hate that. I mean, it can be annoying,
mhm,
but like that kind of is what it is. Because like
yeah.
people who play basketball can very well be
I
annoying
mean, like
too.
every sport, yeah.
Um,
But we just
but
don't think because we're kind of
the
ranking this on
game is
aura.
trash. The game is trash.
And like, what if you were like an incredible lacrosse player versus literally any other sport? I mean, compare the auras, right? Compare even in
I didn't know we were
baseball.
comparing auras. You kind of just made that up. I just don't like
Absolutely,
the game.
that's my scale.
Like,
I don't like. I mean, fair, but
let
me
me.
personally, that's what I'm ranking it off.
The listeners can't tell that you're like joking right now.
Oh, I'm sure they can. But
Anyway,
go
I'm
on.
gonna cut you off and look at it from a completely different perspective. It's literally like it's such a weird mix of things. It's like hockey played on a soccer field with basketball tactics
With a net instead of a
and like a bad
stick. Or I
combination
guess it's a stick.
of each
Yeah.
with like that's literally what it is.
Hmm.
It's like field hockey,
It really is
but
like such an interesting concept when you
with
think
like
about it.
but like faster. Speaking of field hockey, that one's next.
Dude, yeah.
That's worse.
I think it is
The
worse.
thing with lacrosse is that people act like it's so exciting, and it's literally it's the
Yeah.
same. It's quite literally the same tactics as basketball, just like a worse game.
Hmm.
Like field hockey, but it's a mix of like hockey and soccer,
Well, field hockey is horrible because you have to bend over the whole time you're playing it, which
and it's so
sucks.
slow. It's so
Yeah.
slow and like looks so unathletic.
And if like you're not, no offense, but if you're not good, it kind of like it really does suck to watch. Um,
Even if you are good, I think it'd be really hard for me to be
yeah, I mean,
like,
I've
oh,
never watched like a whole
they're
game.
tough at field hockey. Like, whoa, they're
Yeah, but
cooking out there. Like, this is not happening. Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
goodness.
field hockey, that's a great take, but
I'm I'm not gonna hate on any of the racket sports because like they all have their place.
hmm
Um,
yeah, but and then like
what about
what are you saying? Well, I
continue.
was
No,
like, I don't hate golf, but I hate when like golf people like hate on other sports. Like, dude, you play golf. Like, come on.
that's
You know what I'm
fair.
talking about?
But no,
Like,
golf is great.
golf is great just to go out and like just play.
I think competitive golf is far different from like
Yeah,
playing golf.
just like fun, yeah.
But like I don't want to slander golf too hard because like the sport itself is great. I
Hmm.
guess you're talking about auras more.
Yeah.
I get that. There's like the golf players.
Yeah.
I think the same can be said for like cross country. Like there's nothing wrong
Mm,
with and
yeah.
I know a lot of people who do cross country who are great. So like it's not um shout out Bryce Phillips. Um
No shout outs.
no shout outs.
No, take it back.
I'm not taking it back. That's my dog. Anyway,
Shout out Lambert. Edigan.
shout out
Anyways,
he tried to convince did I tell you this story?
what?
This is gonna be a funny tangent. So
We'll end it on
right
this.
right before I got my license, I had to like sit in the cafeteria to like wait to get picked up for something.
Hmm.
And I was just like doing some homework or something. And Lambert was at a table with some other people. And I could have sworn I heard somebody say my name.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
like really
you did tell me
quiet.
this.
And like I walked over there, I was like, yo, like, did you guys call me? And they were like,
You walked
what the
over to the
like
table.
what are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, you did tell me
So
that.
I went back to my table and then they started doing it again. And they're like, are you a schizo? Like they were trying to convince me that I was a schizo, but they were just messing with me.
And that has resonated with Nash the rest of his life.
It almost worked. It
Oh,
almost
poor
worked.
guy. Was that sophomore Nash?
No, that was this year.
June. That was this year. Oh gosh. Oh, poor
And
you.
and Lambert was like, "Who even are you, bruh?" And he was like, "Oh, are you the guy that does the podcast with James?"
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, I
Ah,
am.
yeah. But back to what I was saying, cross country, like there's just like I guess every sport like sort of forms their groups based on the sport. I think that's natural.
Yeah.
So like I really shouldn't hate. Um,
Yeah.
but like basketball is just so much better,
Hmm.
and like the drip is way better.
Yeah. Aura.
Um,
If you're great, you can have incredible aura.
I,
You know,
I, I
physically.
don't know what you're on about with saying aura so much.
I have kind of
Um,
kind of spammed it, but um, yeah, that's all I got for that,
I don't
honestly.
know. Dive.
Like diving, like
Oh, the last sport I'm gonna hate on is for one very specific reason: gymnastics.
mm,
Not because I dislike or don't appreciate that like gymnasts are very skilled, because like they definitely are,
mm-hmm.
but they make the Ocean Lakes basketball courts un- nearly unplayable.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's it's
It's
it's
borderline unplayable.
it's
Yeah,
a safety hazard. The chalk that they use for like whatever it is that they're using it
it like
for,
teleports all the
it
way
makes
down the court.
it makes the ball slippery, and I can't get any traction. No matter how many times I like wipe my shoes or use the sticky mat, I'm it's a slip and slide.
Yeah, it is pretty horrible.
It's really bad.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
why I'm hating on gymnastics.
yeah,
That's
because of a
it.
personal reason, which is very just. Just shade on the whole general sport of gymnastics, just because of a personal reason. Works.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that's
glad you
how I
did.
do things.
Yep. Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
All
But
right, we gotta chill. It's a little too late for those of
yeah, it
you
is. All
listening.
right.
We're starting to lose our marbles.
Yeah, yeah, as they say. But that's what we got for NFL and all that good stuff. We are looking forward to watching the games today. Yeah, today and tomorrow. But any closing remarks, Nash?
I don't have any of them. No
That's good to
remarks from
hear.
me.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
follow everything. Follow the Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff, Spotify, and catch you guys later. See ya.